crowd. Noise hurled from the ceiling, the walls, and the metal lockers. I wondered why I never noticed the din when I was a student. They say you don't forget the things you learn young. I'd last been here 20 years ago, but at the gym entrance, I turned left without thinking to follow the hall down to the women's locker room. Caroline Giac was waiting at the door, clipboard in hand. "Vic! I thought maybe you'd chickened out. Everyone else got here half an hour ago. They're suited up, at least the ones who can still get into their uniforms. You did bring yours, didn't you? Joan Lacey's here from the Herald-Star, and she'd like to talk to you. After all, you were a tournament MVP, weren't you?" Caroline hadn't changed. The copper pigtails were cut into a curly halo around her freckled face, but that seemed to be the only difference. She was still short, energetic, and tactless. I followed her into the locker room. The din there rivaled the noise level in the hall outside. 10 young women in various stages of undress were screaming at each other for a nail file, a tampon, "Who stole my fucking deodorant?" In bras and panties, they looked muscular and trim. Much fitter than my friends and I had been at that age. Certainly fitter than we were now. In a corner of the locker room, making almost as much noise, were 7 of the 10 Lady Tigers with whom I'd won the state Class AA championship 20 years ago. 5 of the 7 had on their old black and gold uniforms. On some, the t-shirts stretched tight across their breasts, and the shorts looked as though they might split if the wearer tried a fast breakaway. The one packed tightest into her uniform might have been Lily Goldring, our leading free throw shooter, but the permed hair and extra chin made it hard to be sure. I thought Alma Lowell was the black woman who had spread far beyond the capacity of her uniform and had her letter jacket perched uneasily on her massive shoulders. The only 2 I recognized for certain were Diane Logan and Nancy Cleghorn. Diane's strong, slender legs could still do for a Vogue cover. She'd been our star forward, co-captain, honors student. Caroline had told me Diane now ran a successful Loop PR agency specializing in promoting black companies and personalities. Nancy Cleghorn and I had stayed in touch through college. Even so, her strong, square face and frizzy blonde hair were so unchanged, I would have known her any place. She was responsible for my being here tonight. She directed environmental affairs for SCRAP, the South Chicago Reawakening Project, where Caroline Giac was the deputy director. When the 2 of them realized the Lady Tigers were going into the regional championships for the first time in 20 years, they decided to get the old team together for a pre-game ceremony. Publicity for the neighborhood, publicity for SCRAP, support for the team. Good for everyone. Nancy grinned when she saw me. "Yo, Warshawski, get your ass moving. We gotta be on the floor in 10 minutes. "Hi, Nancy. I ought to have my head examined for letting you get me down here. Don't you know you can't go home again?" I found 4 square inches of bench to dump my gym bag on and quickly stripped, stuffing my jeans into the bag and putting on my faded uniform. I adjusted the socks and tied the high-lacing shoes. Diane put an arm around me. "You're looking good, Whitey. Like you could still move around if you had to." We looked into the mirror. While some of the current Tigers topped 6 feet, at 5'8", I'd been the tallest one on our team. Diane's afro was about level with my nose. Black and white, we'd both wanted to play basketball when race fights were a daily disruption in hall and locker room. We hadn't liked each other, but junior year we'd forced a truce on the rest of the team, and the next February we'd taken them to the first statewide girls' tournament. She grinned, sharing the memory. All that garbage we used to put ourselves through